Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, Mr. Tom2304 here, trying to fill the gap left by this 2-week Bleach break period. So I've got another discussion video for you today. It's going to be pretty long, but it's also perhaps going to be split into two parts. I'm going to be discussing predictions and theories on what's going to happen in this new arc, because we've only just started it, so we've still got a long way to go. So without further ado, let's just cut straight to the first topic. Basically predictions about the new enemies. We all know that the enemies are ranked via letter, and it appears that their letters indicate some kind of special ability rather than an actual hierarchy of ranking. So we've got Courage was J for jail, As Not is F, most likely for fear. But what about the others? What are their possible letters? Now, I saw a really good theory for this, actually, on Bleach Asylum, the forum. I'll leave the link in the description below for the forum itself. I can't remember the thread for the life of me. But it said that... Do you remember in chapter 494, when we first saw 7 of the Sternritter? They appeared... It was the guy with the mohawk, then the yummy-looking guy, the hooded-looking guy, the old Sternritter with the gun, Bambietta Bastabine, and then As Not. And as we've seen, Bambietta Bastabine and As Not are E and F respectively. So does this mean that the other Sternritter shown in that chapter are going to be those letters, going in that line? So does that mean that the old Sternritter is D, the hooded one is C, Yami is B, and the mohawk guy, who I think is called Buzzby, is A? I mean, I'm quite happy to go with that theory, to be honest, because I think it makes perfect sense. It would mean that Shunsui is fighting, if they were perhaps ranked in power order, which I'm pretty sure they're not, but if they were, then he's fighting possibly the 4th strongest Sternritter, which, it makes sense for a captain of his level, I think, because you've got Unohana, at least Unohana and Yamamoto above his level. But, so from what we've seen, if that is the case, then it's quite hard to determine the ranks of the Sternritter fighting Toshiro and Soifon. I don't know, I think the one that's fighting Soifon looks like a knight, so maybe something to do with knights, like L for lance, K for knight, he could be anything like that. I've literally no idea about the one fighting Toshiro. S for Scar, that's about all we can get from him really, because we've literally not seen anything from those two yet. As for Bambietta's E, what could it be? Could it be ecstasy? She seemed pretty happy slaughtering those Shinigami. Ecstatic. It's probably not going to be that. It's going to be something to do with an ability, perhaps. So it's really, really quite hard to determine what she is. Electricity, her whip might be something to do with... Because it seemed like she had a whip-type ability. She seemed to pull something around her to sever the Shinigami. So it's quite hard to determine her ranks. If we do base our theory on the chapter 494 spread, then the blonde Sternritter may not be a Sternritter at all. He may in fact be someone higher than that, but below Buckbeard. Or he might just be another... Kubo might do a Zero Espada and make him, I don't know, a Sternritter of a letter from a different language or something like that. Or a vowel with an umlaut on top of it or something like that. I don't know. These Quincy are supposed to be predominantly German after all. But, yeah, as far as the ranking goes, I think we can look at that 494, and it might even be possible, simply because Bambietta and Not were revealed like that. And if those two are the 6 and 5 of the group, then theoretically the next two who will reveal their letters out of those 7 are the Old Man and the Cloaked Quincy. But that's quite difficult because the Cloaked Quincy hasn't been shown to be fighting anyone yet. So whether that'll happen or not is unclear. I think we'll probably find out the rankings of the Sternritter fighting Toshiro and Soifon first. Purely because they're fighting junior captains, and I think their fights will come first. So yeah, that's my predictions on the Sternritter rankings. I mean, what could they mean? I have seen a lot of good theories online. Like, for example, if the Yami one is B, then he might be B for blood or Blut, and therefore his ability would be a bit like Neutra's, but he'd be almost impervious to cut. The Old Man, if he is D, something like Desperado, some kind of gunslinger kind of letter. So, yeah, that's my idea on the enemy's rankings. Moving on to the next topic of our predictions. who's going to die? This is really quite difficult, as Kubo's obviously known not to kill his good guys. So what's he going to do? What is he going to do this time? We've already seen him kill Chojiro Sasakibe at the very beginning of the arc. Yeah, okay, no one cares about Chojiro, but he was still a good guy, and Chojiro had quite an impact on the plot. Maybe not on the fans, but on the plot, his impact was quite large. So that might be what Kubo's going for. This is a war, and Kubo seems to be trying to get that across more so than he did in the fake Karakura Town struggle, in that he's just going to kill off anyone. Because that's what war is, you know, it's cold, it's unpredictable, it's relentless. You know, Kira just got blasted. Is he dead? Who knows? No one's going to stop in the middle of all this fighting to make sure he is dead, or even make sure he's alive. Byakuya, you know, that was the big surprise of last chapter, and the chapter before that, essentially, in that it looks like Byakuya's dead. In my opinion, he probably is. You know, and while Byakuya's death isn't so important on the plot, Byakuya's death is really good for character building. Certain characters like Rukia, Renji, maybe even Ichigo. You know, Renji might finally get his chance to surpass Byakuya. Maybe even become captain. Rukia might learn Bankai purely for this. But who's going to die? I want to predict that Komamura is probably going to die. I don't want him to. I like Komamura, despite all the hate he gets. He's a great captain, you know, he's all about loyalty. His Bankai is pretty terrible, because instead of giving it a new ability, like Kubo does most people with Bankais, he gave it a really, really powerful weakness. And the problem with Komamura is his storyline is over. You know, he had his big moment with Tosen and Hisagi in the fake Karakura Town arc, and that was the thing, that as soon as Tosen was dead, which was obviously going to happen sooner or later, Komamura was finished. You know, all we don't know about Komamura is, you know, what his kind of thing with Yamamoto is. So he might die giving his life for Yamamoto, as he says that he owes Yamamoto his life. You know, that could be some unintentional foreshadowing way back when he says that if Genryusai Yamamoto tells me to lay down my life, I will. Obviously, Yamamoto's not going to tell him to lay down his life, because I can't see that happening, but Komamura might do it anyway. Say Yamamoto ends up against Buckbeard. But Komamura has to survive his battle with Bambietta first, of course, which might not even happen. Although, since she has stolen his Bankai, this is another prediction, it's going to be worse for her, because Komamura knows the weaknesses of his Bankai. He'll just attack the Bankai, you'd have thought. I've heard a lot of people saying that Miuri might be in trouble, because obviously the Quincy hate him. You know, with good reason. And I'm inclined to agree. I'd be surprised if Miuri did get out of this arc, you know, in any way, good shape or form. For a couple of reasons. Yes, the Quincy hate him, but, well, Uryu hates him, so we don't know if the Vandenreich even give a crap about the Quincy that he experimented on, because, let's face it, we don't even know what the Vandenreich's motives are yet. They might not even be doing this for the Quincy massacre. So, but yeah, another reason is he's in trouble at the moment, because his division is being attacked by this Quincy who seems to be able to puppet control people. Yeah. So I do think Miuri's in trouble. Let's face it, he's an interesting character, but he's not well liked. I'd like to think that Kubo isn't going to kill people off based on popularity, you know, because Byakuya was one of the most popular characters in the whole series. So, you know, that would dispel that rumour, you'd think. As for someone I'd like to die, no offence to the fans out there, but I really think Soifon should go. I've really not liked her that much ever since the Karakura battle, to be honest with you, because she, in my opinion, I don't think she deserves to be captain. Simply because she had to make a deal with one of the Vizard before she would even fight this enemy, who, without the Vizard, would have absolutely destroyed her. You know, she's supposed to be doing her job as a captain. She's not supposed to be hiding her true power. We had that big, you know, speech from Iba to Ikaku, and Ikaku lost the pillar because he wouldn't do his Bankai. So why was Soifon not fighting with, you know, everything she could have done? She could have teamed up with Hachi earlier, and they could have wiped the floor with Baragon, essentially. But she was unreliable to cooperate. I know that her whole mantra of the second division is, you know, sort of going on your own, don't give a shit about others, and just kill people. But I really think she should go. I don't think she's strong enough to hold her own against the Quincy. As simple as that. I made as a useless lieutenant. You know, we all know he might be relatively fast at some points, but he's useless. Especially against an enemy that seems to be as advanced as the Vandenreich. I think Unohana's safe, in my opinion. I think she's safe, because we haven't seen her do anything. I think either Shinsuke or Ukitake will go. which is really unfortunate because I really like both of them. We have not seen them do enough. If it's one of them, I think it'll be Shinsui, only because Ukitake seems a bit too predictable because of his illness. You know, everyone probably thinks he's going to die. I don't. I think it's probably going to be Shinsui if one of them does go, which is a big shame because I really like Shinsui. He's actually my favourite captain of them all. Someone who is definitely dead, in my opinion, almost 100%, is Yamamoto. His character just seems to be driving him that way. Ever since Sasakibe died, he seems to be desperate to get his hands dirty with Buckbeard. You know, and that's just going to lead him to death, I think. I don't think he's going to beat him. I mean, I know back in the past it was said that Yamamoto, as far as we know, he failed to kill that man. That could mean anything. He could have spared him, he could have not been strong enough to beat him, but whatever the case, Buckbeard survived an encounter with Yamamoto. I think it'll happen again. In fact, my prediction for the next chapter, actually we'll get onto that later. But yeah, I think Yamamoto's in big trouble. I think he's going to die. I think his death will signal the crumble of Soul Society, and then we'll have to have someone else take over. You know, and that'll start Soul Society afresh. So yeah, let's move on to the next point then. My predictions for Bleach Chapter 503. Kenpachi doesn't stand a chance. I've seen people on Bleach Asylum saying that maybe he'll defeat the blonde Sturmritter. But to me, those people don't seem to realise how a story works. The blonde Sturmritter has clearly been introduced as the second in command, the right-hand man. This might change later on, but for the time being, he's the right-hand man. There's no way in 20 chapters into this arc, Kubo's just going to wipe him out. You know, maybe a weak Sturmritter's going to get killed. Some of those nameless fodder ones that are on Kenpachi's back, fine. But there's no way Kenpachi's going to stand even a hope in hell against Buckbeard or his dragon. So Kenpachi's going to lose. I don't know, maybe this probably won't happen next chapter, but I'm fairly sure that Yamamoto's headed for Buckbeard's location. So it'd be pretty awesome to see a Yamamoto-Kenpachi tag team. Which, you know, I mean, that could go anywhere. You know, Yamamoto could die. People say Kenpachi's going to die. I don't think he is, personally, because he's just... Well, I don't know. I mean, it would really hit the nail on the head. It would really bring it home if Kenpachi died, because he's supposed to be unbeatable, you know. Everyone thinks Kenpachi is... You can't kill him, he's a monster, he won't go down. If he did go down permanently, then that would really knock it home that the Vandenreich means serious business. So yeah, that's really my prediction for the next chapter, is that Kenpachi is just going to get probably slaughtered. If it doesn't stick with Kenpachi, it will return to one of the junior captain battles, possibly Soifon versus the White Knight Quincy. Interesting, I'm actually drawing a comic for that at the moment, if you want to check it out. I'll leave the link below for my DeviantArt. But, yeah, that's my predictions for the next chapter anyway. So, yeah, this video, I don't want it to be too long. I'll probably do a second part to this prediction video. So, check it out. There's a couple of more discussion videos here on the discussions links. I really hope they work this time, because I think on my last video the annotations decided not to work. But, yeah, hopefully I'll see you on that video soon. And I'm looking forward to Bleach next week, and we'll have a Fairy Tail review this weekend. So, yeah. Also, if you want to, I recently played Mario Kart 7, a shout out to the Chosen 186 with him recently. It was really good fun. If any of you want to hit me up on the 3DS, I'll PM you my my friend code, or the Wii, or something like that. So yeah, what are your predictions? What are your predictions? What do you think is going to happen in the next arc? I mean, just talk about what we talked about in this video. Who's going to die? What's going to happen next chapter? What do you think about the Sturmritter's ranking system, and who's ranked what? You know, those 3 points, leave them in the comment section below. I'll catch you next time. Until then, I'll see you later.